Did you know that 1 in every 5 adults struggles with mental health? That's a crazy number. That's close to 60 million people who are struggling with mental health every day. It doesn't have to be that way. When you understand the science behind how your brain is working, there are simple activities that you can apply that don't take more than just a few seconds to help you be able to relieve the stress, to help you avoid burnout, or give you just a little break in your day to help you reset and recharge. That's what we're going to be talking about on this video. I want to go through and break down the neuroscience behind what is happening in your brain and give you just a few simple activities that you can apply. In our last lesson, we talked about the different areas of the body that mental health really targets, so to speak. We know that obviously it is mental, but it also affects us on a spiritual side and an emotional side and a physical side. And when you know which activities your body needs because you know where it's targeting, you're a little bit more empowered to say, this thing is going to help me, instead of applying activity because it helps with everybody else. But you're going to know exactly what you need in that moment, so it's actually effective in what you're doing. But before we jump into the activities, I want to go through the neuroscience behind how mental health affects your brain. The first way that mental health really affects your brain is it creates an imbalance in the neurotransmitters, specifically serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. These hormones really are the center of you being able to achieve the life that you want. So your serotonin, this is the happy hormone. When your levels are really low, of course, anxiety and depression are going to become your new best friends because your body literally cannot produce enough serotonin to get you into a place where you can feel that joy in your life. Dopamine is our reward system. And so you're always going to be looking for what's the next thing that I have to do, and it'll always feel empty. Your mood swings are going to be all over the place. And there's just the attention, the focus just isn't there because you don't have the hormones that say, oh yes, this is a good thing and I feel satisfied by it. GABA is the last one that's really affected with mental health, and that is the body's ability to create a calm feeling. It is part of that central nervous system where your body just can't calm down. And so our heart begins to race more and we begin to feel all of these anxious feelings because your body doesn't have enough of that GABA to help you to start to calm down. So these are the 3 neurotransmitters. But when we live in constant stress, or we have these prolonged periods of struggles with any kind of mental health, it begins to change the structure of your brain. The hippocampus, where we have long-term memory, and your prefrontal cortex right here where you make decisions. All of those things start to be affected when we are struggling with this over and over. And so you feel like, I'm just never going to get out of this. I'm never going to be able to feel better. And when you recognize that it takes just these few simple activities, some just 30 seconds, to help get you into a place where you can stay on top of it and stay under control, can change everything in your day. The last piece that we're going to talk about in the neuroscience side is the atomic nervous system. So when the atomic nervous system is off, it's going to lead you to being in a state of, we normally call it fight or flight. When you are stuck in this place, you do not have access to be able to think about things differently. You really can't take the time that you need to just relax. Even if you go out and you have time to yourself and it's like, okay, I'm just going to relax. The autonomic nervous system is not going to allow you to step into that place of relaxation unless you do something that is going to help your body get to that point. When you're stuck in this fight or flight state, it actually reduces your brain's ability to connect with that neuroplasticity, where your brain has the ability to change, to expand, and to grow. When you're faced under this constant stress or mental health, you actually can't be in that place. You can't be in a state of growth because you are always fighting these low levels of neurotransmitters. You're fighting the ability to think in a positive way. You cannot take advantage of all of the amazing things that your body can do when you are struggling. That's why these few activities that I'm going to share with you are so critical, because it helps do the motions. You go through the routines that help put you back into a place where you can begin to get back into control, get back into balance, so that you can start to live the life that you want to. So you ready? Okay. First one that we're going to go through is on a physical side, because it's the easiest to identify. It's the easiest to be able to go through and say, how do I fit this into my day? The most obvious one is exercise. Moving your body, especially with vigorous exercise. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to go out and run a 5K, but do you have a dog that can take you on a walk? That is the kind of exercise that moves your body more than you feel like you are capable of. Even something as simple as drinking water can help rejuvenate the physical body. Remember, when we lift the physical side, it's also going to lift the mental side. When you take care of your physical body by eating healthy, or maybe that is just intermittent fasting, maybe that's what you need at this time, but doing things that are going to help your physical body, even stretching. But my personal favorite is walking around outside barefoot. This is called grounding. If you can get that connection to the earth, to have the flow of energy move through you. We're so used to walking around with our shoes on concrete, and we are lacking that connection to the flow of the earth. If we can get reconnected with that, it's going to help us bring balance to our physical body. So next, let's talk about mental, because those are the two areas, physical and mental, that are the most common when we talk about mental health. So mentally, if you need to do something to help the mental side, doing things like affirmations. Now, affirmations are a little bit tricky because there's a lot of different ways that we can approach affirmations. But if you can get into a place where you are just saying something positive about yourself, goes a long way. But I want to leave that with a caveat. Your brain, especially if you're struggling with mental health, is not going to believe you. You're going to run up against these barriers, these walls that say that's not true. At this stage of the game, that's not the point. To convince your brain why this is a good thing. It's to help you come into a place where you can see that there is a possibility that one day I might get to a place where I can be loved and accepted, or that I can be okay with where I am, or that things are going to work out all right. Saying simple affirmations that you can remember and repeat them often is going to help you start to gain control. When I am in these depression cycles, my brain will tell me that there is no God, that He is not real, that He's not helping me. And it is very, very true for me. But my go-to affirmation is that I'm a child of God and He is aware of me. That is not what I believe in those moments, but it is who I am. And so my brain will tell me that's not true. And I have to remind myself, I choose to believe it even though it doesn't make sense. I'm choosing to believe it. That is the power of affirmations. It's not the I'm going to be a millionaire and life's going to be beautiful. It is the identity of who you are and reminding yourself that I am a child of God. There is power in that. Now, when I'm not in a state of depression, that is powerful to me. But when I'm in those depressional slumps, or when the anxiety is so high, and I remind myself of that, and I choose into it, even though none of it feels true, that is when affirmations become extremely powerful. I'm not telling you to go read 100 pages of positive affirmations. You need something that's specific to you and attaches to the core of who you are. Simple things on the mental side, like meditation, giving yourself space to feel everything that's going on, and then saying, now I'm going to be intentional about where I want to go. And that can be done in 60 seconds. Well, I'm not telling you that you have to go meditate for 3 hours. Just taking a moment to be intentional about slowing down and being present. Listen to the thoughts without shame, and then go into and direct your thoughts. This is where I want to go. I know this is where I've been, but this is where I want to go. And that is going to help you on that mental side. Doing things like forgiveness. Now, I've worked with a lot of different clients that have said, well, what does forgiveness have to do with anything? And you would be surprised that if you take a moment to say, I don't actually feel like forgiveness is a good thing. I don't feel like I am very repentant of these things, but coming in and saying, I choose to forgive this person, and I choose to forgive myself, even though I don't feel it. With this mental side, it is extremely important to understand that you're not going to feel like that, and you do it anyway. Forgiveness is a huge part of why this mental health is continuing to struggle. You have to learn how to forgive yourself, even though you don't have any reason that you need to. You need to, because it creates such a difference for moving forward. Going outside and soaking up the sun, doing things like yoga, because that ties in that meditation side, right? Being still and quiet and intentional about what you're doing with your body helps to bring a calm mind. All right, let's talk about the emotional side. If you know that you're struggling and your emotions are all over the place and you need to create balance, things like aromatherapy are amazing for your emotional well-being. Getting some essential oils, even if that is just smelling them. If you have a diffuser, that's a bonus. But even if you can just smell your essential oils, that's going to help create calm and peace on an emotional side. Doing things like breath work can actually bring your brain out of the fight or flight that we talked about and put you into a place where the parasympathetic nervous system can help you begin to calm down. It's naturally going to boost those GABA hormones that we talked about so that you can start to bring a calmness into your day. Doing things like acupuncture can help a emotional release. Other things that you can do is listen to music. Doing like meditation music, spa type music, that may be what you need. But I know for me, when I am really struggling, I actually need to pump like punk rock kind of music. I go back to like the late 90s, early 2000s, and I pull out some music that I have associated really, really great memories with. And I go back and pull the music that I listened to in high school. And because it is associated with good times, listening to that music for me, extremely loud, helps me pull myself out of these depressional slums. Doing things like dancing will also help. Typically, if I give myself the space to say, I'm really struggling, I need to go out for a drive in my car. No kids are allowed to come with me. It's just me. I will turn on music that makes me happy and I will dance in my car. And even if it's just a drive around the block, where we live, blocks are huge. And so it takes me a little bit of time and just a couple of minutes with me listening to this music and dancing in my car helps me feel so much better. The last activity that we'll talk about on this emotional side is laughing, but not laughing by yourself. Yes, you could go watch a comedy movie that would make you laugh, but it's specifically laughing with other people. I have a group of friends that I love to get together with because every time we do, we just laugh all night long. The kind of laughing where you start crying and your stomach hurts because you're laughing so much over something that's so ridiculous. When you take the time to laugh, it changes the chemicals in your brain. This is something that you can do on a regular basis. Create moments of laughter in your life, even if it is laughing at yourself, not taking yourself so seriously. These are the things that are going to help you be able to create this balanced life. The last area where mental health really takes a toll on our body is the spiritual. Doing things like praying are obviously going to help your mental health, but I'm a firm believer that you cannot pray away the struggles that you have with mental health. Does that mean that Jesus cannot take it from you? Absolutely not. He can. He is powerful enough, but he wants you to put in these actions. So what are other options on a spiritual side that you can come in and help on a regular basis with this mental health? Things like meditation can actually help lift your spirit. Things like acupuncture are going to help on a spiritual side. But the one thing that makes the biggest difference for me is doing self-reflection. I make a daily habit of journaling through what is going on. It is not a log of I did this and this and this. It is a feeling log. I struggled here today because I was doing that. Or I felt really content that I was able to complete XYZ. Doing this self-reflection every day helps me to be able to step into a place where I can see the ups and downs. And so when I am in a down place, it helps me to be able to know that I'm going to be up again. It is possible for me to have an upswing. It also helps me recognize that this is not going to last forever. It helps give me a place where I can be authentic and truthful about where I am. I do not have to hide anything when I'm writing things down. But the benefit of writing things down, once I purge everything and I've gone through like my day and what I'm feeling and where I'm at, is then I just sit and be quiet and I just listen. Anything that comes to my mind after this point, I just write down, because it's not I feel, but this is actually how I say my prayers. And I write a loving response from a Heavenly Father who knows me, who knows where I am and knows where I'm struggling. And sometimes it is just a simple, you've got this. And other times there's direction that's given there. Inspiration begins to come because I take the time to just sit and be quiet with my thoughts and intentionally write down an answer from Him. If I can do that, then I know that I'm not alone, that I don't have to face this struggle by myself. And I don't have to go out and share it with the whole world of how much I'm struggling. But I know that I've got someone who's sitting right next to me, who knows what I'm going through and is able to help me through that. So from here, I do not anticipate that you will do every single one of these activities on a daily basis. That would be too much and overwhelming for you right now. But in your workbook, there is a place for you to pick one activity in each category. One thing to commit to for the next 7 days. Just pick one thing. And if you do something like meditation, I want you to recognize that it affects 3 areas. You can do one thing that's going to impact you in a lot of different ways. But commit to doing one thing, even if it is only 30 seconds. Maybe it's going to be 5 minutes. But commit to doing something that's going to help you with where you are now to get reconnected to who you are and bring your body back into a place of balance. If you're willing to take on this challenge, the last bonus piece that I'll give you is to write down your success story. If you have a place of where you're willing to, or where you're wanting to go, what you want your life to look like, not just get through and not just receive stuff, but what does success look like for you on the other side of this trial? It's going to help you stay in a place of positive focus. It's going to help you with goal setting. It's going to help you with behaviors and actions that you need to take. But look at where is it that you want to go and what is it that you want to create, and write down that story. So how I do this is I say by the end of the year, it is December 31st, 2024. And what does life look like? What does the end of my successful year look like? If you can do those kind of things, it helps you to stay focused regardless of where your body is and the emotions and all of the things that are going on. The key is to remain focused on where it is that you want to go.